Hello everybody, Dokkan Assets here. We have a absolutely insane breaking figure news video. I cannot believe it. They let my man out of the vault, out of nowhere. Tamashii has announced the official release of the FIGUARTS Zero JANEMBA. Oh my gosh. Now, if you don't know why this is so significant, JANEMBA was actually shown off as a prototype. You can see that this post right here on the DBZ Collectors Reddit is 3 years old. This guy being shown off 3 years ago at an event with just the prototype image, as you can see here. And basically they never said anything about him again after this original image was shown. They showed this, I mean, obviously they showed the figure at the event, but of course we online got to see the image, and they literally just never said anything about it. Everybody just assumed that he was canceled, that they showed the prototype, and then they decided to scrap it. But it would seem that that is not the case. As you can see here, holy moly, the official release of the SH Figuarts JANEMBA. He looks absolutely incredible, ladies and gentlemen. It's nice to see that they kept that little bit of the block deteriorating detail that we could see on the prototype. I will say, I do think his face even looks better than the original prototype, if I do say so myself. And we actually do have some more concrete information on this guy. Not only do we have the Dragon Ball website to look at, but actually a proper pre-order date and price for this guy. But another insane thing dropped at the same time, which I know maybe is not as hype for some other people, but for Dragon Ball collectors is actually a pretty insane release. The boy YAMCHA is finally going to be released as a SH Figuarts figure. I can't believe they included that. I mean, I guess that makes sense. Oh my gosh, they have that as an accessory. I guess that makes sense considering the fact that right now, if you've been following Dragon Ball figures, they have been covering the Android saga in terms of Dr. Gero and Android 19 right now. So I suppose it makes sense that Yamcha, with this scene and this look, would be included. And again, if you're wondering why this is such a significant release, you can see that the prototypes for this Yamcha were actually shown off back in 2020. If I remember, I think this Yamcha may have even been shown off previously. This was just with a quick Google search, you know, just trying to scramble everything together to make this video as quick as possible. This was just the earliest post that I can find. But I'm pretty sure they even showed this guy at a couple of events before that. But this post from 2020 was the earliest I could find. So this guy is also a pretty old prototype that they have shown off a couple of times. And they have never actually released a full version of him. Hello, Ultraman. But yeah, very, very cool to say the least. Let's go ahead and actually hop in to the information about both of these figures. First of all, the official Dragon Ball site has given us a ton of new images, as well as the Tamashii Nation's Instagram page. As you can see, we have this very cool edited image of JANEMBA here. JANEMBA, look at my boy! Translucent parts were utilized for JANEMBA's sword slashes and floating spheres to reproduce his action-packed pose straight from the movie. Furthermore, the pixel-like body parts make this figure look exactly like JANEMBA did in the movie, whenever he phased in and out of the battlefield. Yeah, they give you a couple of different screenshots of the details here, which is very, very awesome. And we do actually have a little YouTube video here. I'm assuming, yeah, this is probably just a little spin around so you can see the entire figure. I love that they included the jelly beans on this figure. I think that that is so cool. And I love the fact that for some of the jelly beans, let's actually go back to that video, right? If we pause right here, you can see that the jelly bean is actually cut right there, which is really, really cool. So obviously cutting it through the sword, right? There's tons of little details with the pixels, of course, even on the tail, right? Of course, you can see that this jelly bean is cut as well. Tons of awesome stuff, right? And we can see if we go to the Tamashii Nation's Instagram page, they actually posted some information about this guy, and you can see that pre-orders will be available starting June 16th. And apparently he comes out in December 2023. So we actually don't have to wait too long for this guy. And as you can see, he is going to be about 11,000 yen. which in USD essentially translates to 110 bucks. So I'm guessing that when this guy goes up for pre-order, it will probably be around that mark, right? Maybe 100, maybe 120, but he'll be around that range, which I think for a figure of this caliber definitely makes a lot of sense. The only thing that I am a little bit worried about, and unfortunately they don't actually give you a size for this guy. The only thing that I'm worried about is that the final product will actually turn out this good, because if you guys are familiar with the FIGUARTS Zero Gogeta that actually is meant to pair with this guy, that figure looked absolutely amazing. One of the most incredible figures that we've ever seen. And the final figure literally looked like a bootleg from Bandai officially. So I'm really hoping that JANEMBA actually turns out this good as these original images are, you know, showing us that he will. As well, we also have the boy YAMCHA too. Lots of cool stuff, as you can see. It definitely seems like that they've actually upgraded YAMCHA's faces, because I know that the faces from the prototypes definitely did not look like this. And it kind of looks like they made the orange a little bit more washed out, which is interesting. Like, it's not as bright orange, I guess. You can also see YAMCHA gritting his teeth there. Very, very cool with a bunch of different poses and stuff like that. I still can't believe that this is included in the set. The one thing I will say is that, ironically enough, if we go back to that prototype image, can we not go back to it? I'm assuming it must be the very top image. Okay, well, from that original prototype image, we'll have to find it again. Yeah, here. You can see that YAMCHA has this little, like, smile neutral face, right? But I don't actually see that included in any of this, right? We have, of course, the face when Dr. Zero puts a hand through his chest. We have the screaming face, you know, the teeth gritting face, and then, yeah, the screaming face all around. So I don't actually see a neutral face, though I'm assuming that maybe they just haven't showed it yet, because if we go back down to the bottom here, right, it does say 3 optional expression parts, 3 optional hand parts, and then, of course, for Android 20. And I'm assuming that that probably means that YAMCHA's regular face is going to be that neutral face, because a lot of the time when they advertise SH FIGUARTS, they always say 3 optional expression parts, but they don't include the main face as one of the optional ones because it's attached to the figure, which I always thought was kind of silly, because it's like, you know, you technically have 4 options, right? But at the same time, like, I guess I get it. It's the ones that aren't actually attached to the figure. So we'll have to see when the time comes for that. Tamashii did also post, I believe, just the same images here. What is interesting, I will say, by the way, is that the official website, yeah, lists a different price for yen, as you can see for this guy. 7,150 yen, whereas the Tamashii Nation's official Instagram says 7,250 yen. That isn't a big difference, obviously, right? Like, that's a couple of dollars in USD. So I don't really think that that's that big of a deal, to be honest with you. But it's just something interesting to note. And so that will be around like 72, 71 bucks USD, maybe 70. Definitely not too bad. It will be interesting to see, right, everything that this guy actually comes with, like, all laid out in front of you. They have been charging like 70, I feel like, lately for these more exclusive, quote-unquote, like, SH FIGUARTS. Like, Dr. Zero was like 70 bucks. Which I feel like this guy easily could have been an over-the-counter release for around 30, but this is modern Tamashii we're dealing with. And pre-orders do open for this guy on the 16th, and funny enough, he'll actually be shipping out March 2024, so he won't be shipping out for a while. But yeah, that is it for this impromptu news video, unless I refresh the Tamashii Nation's Twitter page, and they just so happen to have tweeted out 3 more things. No. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for watching. I was absolutely ecstatic about this figure actually getting shown off that I just had to make a video on it. Your boy has been, like, actually so down in the dumps that this guy did not get a proper release in terms of a actual figure, considering that, of course, like I was saying, he was shown off a really, really long time ago, and just basically nothing came of him, right? Like, it was literally like that one prototype image, this one right here. and then he just disappeared into the ether. So it's very, very nice to see that they are actually going to release this guy, even if it took them 3 years to do it. I am just happy that he is actually getting a proper release. By the way, I did just want to show you the example of what I was talking about with the SH FIGUARTS Zero Gogeta for a little bit of a comparison here. Ironically enough, they actually have an image with him next to JANEMBA because when they originally showed him off, they actually showed him off in the same event next to JANEMBA, which is kind of funny. But if we take a look at the original production image, right, you can see that this guy looks super sick, right? The look of this figure looks really, really cool. The face looks nice, right? Obviously, everything about this guy looks very, very cool. And then if we go back and take a look at the actual product, yeah. I don't think I have to tell you what the problem is with the image that we're looking at. Even besides the face, a lot of the sculpt details are lost. You can see that the shoulder pads look really ugly. The background effect ended up looking really cheap, as well as the halo. So I am honestly just hoping that JANEMBA does not meet the same fate as the boy Gogeta here, but we will see in due time. But thank you guys so much for watching. I will catch you in the next one. Dokkan Assets out. Peace.